During this video, we're going to look at the midpoint and the length of a segment. So if we look at the points A and B, okay, so A being -4, -1, and B, 1, 2. Now what I want to do is find the midpoint, so the middle of this interval. So to start with, what I'm going to do is find out the distance, the horizontal distance here, and the vertical distance. So the horizontal distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 5, and the vertical distance, 1, 2, 3. So what I need to do to find the midpoint is just halve the horizontal and halve the vertical distance. So for example, half of 5 is 2.5, so I'm coming across 1, 2. 2.5 is right there. I'll put a little mark. And then for 3, half of that is 1.5. So come down 1, 1.5 is right there. Put a mark. So now what I'm going to do is put a dotted line straight up there. And that should also match up with my vertical midpoint. So therefore, the midpoint of the interval AB is going to be, if we look, here's our origin, -1, -1.5 for our x, and then for our y value, here's our origin, 0.5. So that's our midpoint for the interval AB. Now what we're going to do now is look at how we could identify a formula or come up with a formula to help us identify what the midpoint would be, as we are not always given a graph like this one. So if you think about what we actually did, we found the distance of the horizontal distance between the points, and we said it was 5. We halved that to get our horizontal midpoint, and with our vertical distance, again we halved that to get our horizontal midpoint. So what we're actually doing there, if we look at the midpoint, it's going to equal x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Because what I've done, A is -4, so I'll go through and show you how that works. So -4 plus my x coordinate here is 1 over 2. My y1 coordinate is -1 plus my y2 coordinate 2. Divide that by 2. So now if we simplify, -4 plus 1 gives me -3. Divide that by 2, that's -1.5. -1 plus 2 gives me 1 divided by 2 is a half. So therefore, you can utilize this formula to help you identify the midpoint. We're given the interval here, -2, -1, 2, 3. And what we're going to actually determine is the distance between those 2 points. So right now, there's a dotted line that's been formed, and there's a right-angled triangle. So what we can actually do is utilize Pythagoras Theorem to help us find the distance of this line, as it is the hypotenuse. So if I find the vertical distance, it's from -1 to 3. So the vertical distance is going to be 4. The horizontal distance, it's from -2 to 2. So it's also going to be 4. We'll call that C for our line interval. So C squared is equal to 4 squared plus 4 squared. So C squared is equal to 16 plus 16. If we simplify that, C squared is equal to 32. So now I need to take the square root of both sides. So C is going to be equal to the square root of 32, which I can simplify down to, which is the same as 16 multiplied by 2. And we know that square root 16 is 4, so it's going to be 4 square root 2. Or if I wanted to answer as a decimal, to one decimal place, it's going to be 5.7 units.